Women's group. I'm a simple guy. I'm not much taller than 5'7". I'm not fat, but I'm not skinny either. I work out a lot, but that doesn't change the fact that I'm not handsome and never will be. Besides, I'm not rich or famous. I have a good job and a good paycheck, but there's no chance I'll ever be freaking rich. I'm not a freak, but I'm not a model either. I don't have scars, a limp, or bad breath. There's nothing wrong with me, but there's nothing outstanding about me. I'm just some guy. You probably know a lot of guys like me. It's about the same with my wife, Annette. She's not unpleasant to look at least through my eyes, but she's certainly not a sexy girl either. She has a wide ass and flat chest, but I love her just the way she is. I'm happy and satisfied with our relationship. Sometimes I even think it's even better that we're both so unremarkable. It's easy to fall in love with an exceptionally beautiful person. The problem is that you fall in love with the cover, not the content. If you are as unremarkable as we are, your love is probably something more substantial. Loving a regular person means loving a personality as well. Sure, almost every guy thinks Angelina Jolie is gorgeous, for example. I'm the exception in this case, but that's what probably 99% of people of my gender think. If, on the other hand, you have a less prominent specimen of a woman, I get the impression that opinions differ a lot more. Some like this type, some like that type, some like that type. Men's opinions seem to differ a lot more than they do about a stunning beauty. It's the same with my Annette. While I enjoy looking at her, most of my buddies seem to find her rather unattractive. To me, that's fine. I married her for me, not to show her off. I was even a little relaxed to know that there was no big competition, and that she was really mine. Some of my buddies even dared to warn me that I was underestimating myself, and that I could have a much prettier babe. I seriously doubted that, but even if I did, what did it change? Even if I was a 6 out of 10 and she was a 5, should I dump her and try to replace her with a 6? How shallow is that kind of thinking? And like I said, it's all in the eye of the beholder anyway. Now, would I say that everything is perfect with my Annette? No, of course not. A perfect life is like a mathematical limiting case that doesn't happen in real life. The spoon in the honey barrel in our case was the so-called women's group. Now, surely you expect to hear about some underground secret circle of evil women hatching plans to destroy the men around them? Or about a group of wild chicks hanging out in bars looking for a brief sexual release? Again, completely wrong. Hard to believe, but we husbands were even invited to participate. Now imagine 8 women gossiping at full speed, demonstrating their ability to multitask by having 2 or 3 conversations at the same time. Keep in mind that none of these conversations make any sense. Imagine 2 or 3 single men sitting between them, wondering what their wives are even talking about, unable to get a word in edgewise, and even if they did understand, they would have nothing to share or be interested in. Imagine putting up with this for 3 or 4 hours, listening without getting a single piece of information worth sacrificing even the slightest brain effort for. As a result, you begin to wish you had gotten the tooth root treatment instead. Needless to say, the whole thing became an exclusively female event in no time. While women have been best friends since time immemorial, we guys hardly knew each other. Sure, our loving spouses offered to let us spend some time together while they discussed important things, but that soon fell flat as well. I soon preferred to spend my time at home and was quite satisfied with that, resolving never to attend such torturous meetings again in my life. They always met at one of the wives' houses, and it was well that ours was one of the humblest, so they seldom met at our place, and that was for the best. They never met in bars or went to dances or anything like that. It was all very harmless in every way. Sometimes I wondered how they could come up with new topics of conversation, but that wasn't my problem, and although I witnessed their encounters, I was under the impression that it wasn't a problem at all. The upside was that around 8 o'clock, Annette was usually home, which gave us some time to spend together. That Friday, she came home in an even better mood than usual. Meeting her friends seemed to have done her some good, and I was very happy about that. "Honey, you know me and the girls always talk about everything." "Of course we do." She seemed unsure, and it was unusual for her to start a conversation with such an empty phrase. I had a distinct feeling that a significant amount of crap was going to follow. We come up with the weirdest things sometimes." "Okay, Was I expected to do anything more meaningful? Probably not. I could safely assume open ears was all that was required of me at that point. She would soon tell me what was wrong. I certainly wasn't going to disagree with that last statement, as it exactly matched my own impressions. You know, we're up to some kind of game. Most of us are just stay-at-home wives, and our lives can be kind of boring. So we thought we'd liven it up a little bit. Just some harmless fun for a bunch of bored housewives, you know? She winked and looked pleased, but I got an uneasy feeling about it. She wasn't just preparing me for a small bucket of shit, but a whole truckload of it. It was all Angela's idea, but we all agreed it would be such a nice experience. Come on, Frank, don't look so sour. You're really gonna like this. Uh-oh, but I wasn't so sure. I couldn't get the feeling of dread out of my head. It's just a game. See, the rules are simple. She was already very excited, but obviously didn't know how to get to the point. No. Frank, I know there are some real beauties in our group. I don't know. Sure, some of them are nice, but I only love you. After a few years as a husband, you just know how to navigate a minefield disguised as a simple question. You should know better, kid. Anyway, I think every man alive thinks that at least Bea, Tina, and Angela are pretty damn sexy. Carla and Nina aren't so bad either, don't you think? Annette, where exactly are you going with this? Why is she praising her friend's attractiveness? This couldn't be leading to anything good, and accordingly my voice became a little harsher, in proportion to my gloomy mood. She was clearly trying to sell me something I wouldn't like. Anyway, we had this idea. It's kind of crazy, you know? Well, we thought that each husband could have 3 wild nights with someone other than his wife. For each night, he could choose one of the girls in our group. Of course, he can also choose the same girl 2 or 3 times. Annette, what are you getting at? I rudely interrupted her. I was just about to say, she explained patiently, you can make wild love to 3 hot women. And what's the price? What? She looked almost indignant. What's the price? It's not like you're going to offer me 3 nights of hot love-making with other women without getting something you want out of it yourself. I had already guessed where this was going, but decided to let her explain. Yes, Bea, Tina, and Angela were admittedly pretty hot, but their husbands weren't chopped liver either. Why would they want to spend the night with plain old Frank? I was already guessing that this was going to lead to some kind of idiotic wife swap. Turns out I was wrong. Things were even worse. Frank B. met some guy. I think he works as some kind of dancer. A stripper? Normally I'd find that funny, but not in this case. Well, yeah, okay. If you want to put it that way, yes. She saw me frown. But he's not some brainless guy, you know. He's actually quite charming. I think you'll like him, she added hastily, as if that made a difference. So you want to make love to this handsome man 3 times? And to appease me, I can have 3 times with one of your girlfriends? I made a wild guess. Once. What? I'll make love to Mario just once, she said in a rather timid voice. What? It wouldn't mean anything. It'll be like playing sports. Just some irrelevant episode. Exclusively with defense, of course. No way. See, it's a good deal. You get 3 times and I only get 1. Sorry, I'm not interested. Wait a minute. Suddenly, I had a terrible idea. I'm the first husband to get a proposal like this? What? No. Why do you ask? Paul and Tom have already accepted. Paul chose 2 nights with Bea and 1 with Tina. Tom wanted 1 night each with Bea, Tina, and Angela. By the way, they both seemed quite happy with the arrangements. Very happy, in fact. She looked quite confident again. They've already had those wild nights? Yes, why are you so upset about it? Let me see. Am I going to get a chance to choose from all the women in your group? Yeah. She seemed quite pleased, somehow managing to ignore my stern face. Like Tom and Paul? Of course. They chose, so they didn't choose you. No, not me. She had a feeling there was trouble ahead. But you offered yourself to them? Well, yeah. Technically, I did. She finally realized what was going on. But nothing happened, she added hastily. It didn't matter, even if it had. Up until now, it was just a crazy idea that I could scrap before anything went wrong. but what you just told me gives everything a whole new quality. Frank, what's the problem? Nothing happened, I swear. But I could tell by the look on her face that she knew exactly what the problem was. My forever-loving wife offered two men the opportunity to make love to her. That's the problem, I replied rather angrily. Frank, don't be silly. There are 5 really hot women among us. The chance of me getting picked was almost nil. The likelihood of any man with eyes picking me was going to be 0 anyway. Relax, okay? I hated it when she acted like that. I think you're underestimating yourself a little bit, but that's not the point. That would be clearly cheating. The proposal itself is unacceptable. Yeah, I know what you mean. Frank, I didn't expect you to say no to all this. I was absolutely sure you'd jump at the chance to do it. And in this case, even the remote possibility that something might happen didn't matter. It didn't. I understand now. There was a long, awkward silence between us. Would you do it? I finally asked. Yes, she answered meekly. I would have had to. I'm sorry. I miscalculated your reaction. Shit. I was so disappointed that I was speechless for a few seconds. Then something else occurred to me. I understand you've already seen this guy, Mario? I have. I could barely hear her now. Did you like him? Did you like him? No. I don't even really know him. Okay, he's charming, but probably completely unattractive and arrogant if you get to know him. She was clearly and unsuccessfully trying to reassure me. But? Yes, but... She took a deep breath. For some reason, that sigh annoyed me more than anything. It reminded me of a teenager in love. But he wouldn't have gotten the job if he was ugly, would he? No, probably not, I answered shortly. See? It would be like a quick fumble with a hot-looking blow-up doll. So he's totally, unbelievably hot? Well, he should be if he's able to manipulate women like Bea or Angela, who have pretty handsome husbands like that. Yes, she said barely audibly. Tall? She nodded silently. Muscular? Good-looking? Charming? With each word I spoke louder and louder. She pulled away from me and didn't respond. But I realized it was all true. Damn her and her group of girls. We sat in silence, both of us clearly unsure of how to proceed. After a while, some calm returned to me. So let me summarize. My lovely wife sees this totally hot stripper and offers her body to 2 men for the opportunity to sleep with him. Is that right? Frank, no, that's not the point. It's completely out of context. But it's a fact, right? The rest is just ideas based on the assumption that I would agree with this crazy scheme. Well, if you see it that way, I'm sorry. But it wasn't planned that way. We didn't expect one of the husbands to turn it down. The offer is too good. I still can't get over it. I mean, for one night of me, you get 3. And again, I interrupted her. Quantity doesn't matter, Annette. Fidelity isn't something they sell at the bazaar. I don't want to make love to someone else, and I don't want you to. End of story. Okay, I get it. I get it now. I'm just glad nothing's happened yet. Except that you're in love with some guy, planning to make love to him and offering your body to other men. Well, yeah, but nothing really happened. I don't know. That's a lot to process. Right now, I don't feel like I can really trust you. I understand. Frank, I'm sorry. While it would be nice to have a little fun with Mario, I don't need anything. All I want is you. Now I see where I went wrong, and I won't do anything like that behind your back again. I promise. I believed her, but I wasn't about to let her off the hook so easily. I wanted revenge. Come on, I'll show you how much I need you. Call me weak, but I let her take me to the bedroom. And by God, I got my payment. Then, in high spirits, I decided to forgive her. She had probably been pushed into it by her friends and had miscalculated the situation. And after all, nothing really happened, right? A few weeks later, I was very, very surprised at the direction our conversation had taken. I expected the stupid plan to be as dead as the steak I was going to eat later, but I guess I was wrong. After our crisis, there were 2 women's private meetings. Frank? Yes? Don't be mad, please. Don't be. Just don't, okay? I've already guessed where she's going with this. Frank, the girls are very unhappy with your refusal. The girls' happiness is not my problem. Is it okay if they come visit us? No, it's not. I don't want a bunch of women sandbagging me to try to pull me into their stupid plan. At least talk to them, okay? No, I'm not interested. I'm not winning anything. I was interrupted by the doorbell. Damn it, they're early. What? Don't be mad. I expected you to at least be open to talking about it. That's just great. And why did you even bother to ask me that? Frank, don't freak out, okay? I chose to remain silent, hide my anger, and wait for the coming attack together. And what that attack was. Come on, we're going to be so nice to you. You're ruining our game. We can't continue now, and we can't leave it half-finished. Take a look at what we have to offer, okay? Come on, get your shit together. A bunch of hot ladies are offering themselves to you. And so on. In just a few minutes, most of them were topless. Some were about to strip completely. I can't say the sight was unpleasant, but their attempt to convince me was as crude as it was doomed to fail. Come on, here's a free sample. Just play with my boobs, okay? No. Why not? Are you gay? No, I'm not gay, I'm married. Which means I'm gonna stay faithful to my wife. Oh, come on. It's nice, but if you both agree, it's not cheating. But I don't. Fortunately, Annette remained silent throughout the whole thing. I was glad she didn't take their side and join the campaign. Come on. We'll have to stop the whole game if you're not on board. We won't be able to offer the remaining husbands the whole group of girls. Annette has already offered herself to Paul and Tom. We can't treat the other husbands any differently. It's not fair. Bea and Tina's husbands have already paid their debts. We should let them get the full reward. It's not my problem. Oh, come on. You can't be that stubborn. I'm sorry, but I guess I am. You're ruining the whole game. Bea and Tina will be cheaters if we have to stop. At least Paul's already been paid. Comfort them all you want. Offer the rest of the group. That should be enough. But I won't participate. You don't really need Annette. There are plenty of women to choose from. We know that at least one hubby has always liked Annette. We can't deny him that. That surprised me. I loved my Annette, but she was right in saying that most men would prefer other members of this little scheming club. Annette, did you know that? It contradicted her assertion that she wouldn't be chosen anyway. No, she looked very surprised. No, I didn't. Somehow I doubted their little story. For the sake of rewarding other husbands, they didn't need Annette. They might well have continued their silly game without us, but somehow they clearly needed me and Annette to be involved. I just couldn't figure out why. Interesting. However, you can stop now, ladies, and get dressed again. Carry on with your little plan without Annette and me. I don't think that should be a problem. They all reluctantly dressed, and the expression on their faces changed from disappointed to downright angry. This isn't over, Frank. You'll see, Angela said almost threateningly. I know it sounds funny, but I knew her, and I knew she wouldn't stop until she got what she wanted. For all her beauty, she was almost unbearably self-assured and stubborn. Thankfully, with those parting words, the whole group left. Shall we have dinner at the restaurant? I asked, as if nothing had happened. That would be wonderful, Annette said in the same tone of voice. She might be easy to manipulate, but she has a great sense of humor. I realized again how much I loved her, despite that silly episode. When I walked out of my office building a few days later, before I could get to my car, I was stopped by Angela. Angela? I wasn't at all happy to see her, and my tone showed it. Of course, she didn't understand or care about such subtleties. Frank, you really should be reasonable, she began without further ado. Why? Why is this so damn important? Can't you just carry on without Annette? No, otherwise the others will turn out to be cheaters. There's more to it than that, isn't there? Well, why not? Actually, that goes for Mario as well. He's clearly out of our league, out of Bea's and my league even. So why does he do it? He has his own fetish. Does he? He likes, please don't get me wrong, he prefers to make love to married women. Has he met all the women in your group? Yeah, we've all met them. And he insists on going through all of them, right? Yeah, that's his absolute condition. Let me guess, he also wants to meet the husband someday? She seemed a little surprised. Well, we were planning some kind of party at the end to celebrate. Why do you ask? He likes to humiliate married men. That's why he wants to meet us at the end. That's why he insists on having all women without exception. That's why he's threatening to cancel the whole thing if Annette doesn't participate. He won't like me attending the party without horns. I think he'll take it as a kind of personal defeat. It's ridiculous. But at least she seemed thoughtful. Don't count on me, okay? Frank, I'll really make it worth your while. She tried to sound seductive, but it was as sincere as a smiling shark. Why? Frank, he's incredibly handsome. Wait. She pulled a picture out of her purse. The guy was very muscular and handsome, had to hand it to him. But just that arrogant smirk of his immediately made me dislike him. Now, do you see why this is so important? Honestly, I didn't. This is our once-in-a-lifetime chance to make love to a guy like him. He's what every woman dreams of. So all the wives get to spend one night with the man of their dreams? That's right. At the very end, after all the husbands have received their reward. And after that, the women have to spend the rest of their lives with their husbands? What? It took her a bit by surprise, but she came to her senses quickly. No, you don't understand. I don't understand. I understand that you're systematically destroying marriages here. Are you really sure everyone's going to be happy to stay with their spouses after this? All the women will have this handsome guy to compare their husbands to, and the husbands will have the opportunity to compare their wives to several other women. How many whole marriages do you expect to find after that? Well, it's worked pretty well the 2 times I've done it. It sounds like you're just too insecure for that. The other husbands didn't have your concerns. Angela, Paul, Carla, and Tom seem happy. Maybe they don't care what their wives think of them. Call me weak, but I am. I'll worry that she'll keep thinking about her wild night with a guy I can't compete with. The ghost of that silly game will remain in the background throughout our marriage. It's nonsense, Frank. It's just an adventure, no emotion. It'll just liven things up. She loves you. You'll have no trouble staying in first place. My answer's still no. The risk is high, whereas I just don't see the benefit. I don't want to make love to another woman anyway. And I don't want Annette to do it with another man. We're married, and that means something to me. Frank, your behavior could ruin marriages around here. Some husbands have had adventures and some haven't. We need to balance the scales, or the whole thing will collapse. And he just refuses to continue unless Annette is included. Several other wives refuse to change partners unless they have experience with Mario. If you chicken out, everything goes to hell. That's your problem. I think this whole bullshit thing has come down to a battle between me and that asshole Mario. He wants to destroy my marriage for his own amusement, and I want to save what's left of it. Frank, please be reasonable. You're making a big deal out of this. Frank, I'm begging you. He hasn't been to my place yet, and I need him to. Frank, I need to experience it at least once. Please don't let me down. This has become kind of an obsession for us. It'll be a one-time thing for Annette, I promise. I know. He's not interested in you or other women. A one-time love affair with each woman is enough to accomplish what he wants, which is to put horns on us husbands. You, and even relationships, are just a means and an end for him. Yes, but that's a good thing, isn't it? He won't be a threat to our marriages. No chance of a repeat performance. Forget it. You've already admitted that this has become an obsession for you, and yet you want to convince me that it's completely insignificant to Annette in my marriage. You have to decide what it really is? Okay, I understand. I tried my best, Frank. I really tried. But don't think it's over, Frank. It's far from over. Her voice sounded almost threatening, but I couldn't imagine how she could make me agree. We'd just had a delicious dinner and planned to just stare mindlessly at the screen for a while. As I walked, Annette tried to stay close to me, and I was glad she was doing that and supporting me a little bit, because I suddenly felt dizzy. I opened my eyes and saw the wooden ceiling. It was strange. We didn't have a wooden ceiling. I've never seen this ceiling before, I thought, looking at the details of the wooden structure with quiet interest. There are some really weird lines in there. Why was my mouth so dry? I was still feeling very tired. Pretty strong urge to close my eyes again. That's unrealistic. And who's that? A pleasant female voice, but it doesn't sound familiar. It's just unreal. I didn't sign up for this shit. What? Who? I was still a little stunned. Where am I? How did I get here? Who is this obviously quite attractive woman? You have no idea about anything, do you? I thought she had long, wavy, and dark hair, which I liked. She was as beautiful as Angela or Bea, maybe even more so. But what really struck me was that she somehow exuded class and elegance. Damn, that's not what I was told. Which for some reason wasn't reflected in her rather down-to-earth use of language. She seemed slightly agitated. Where? I tried again, still not understanding anything. I don't know where exactly we are. We're in some cabin. I was brought here and it took forever. There seems to be a huge forest surrounding us. I didn't want to do it anyway, it seemed too risky. But these ladies talked me into it, saying the client was a really nice guy. If the money wasn't so damn good, I would have said no. The money? Oh shit, you don't know anything, do you? Honestly, I don't really get it. Well, how do I explain it? It's just weird. I hope I don't get in any trouble for this. Just start from the beginning, okay? By this point, I was fully awake and actually really wanted to hear what had happened to me. Okay, simply put, I'm a high-class escort girl. Believe it or not, she definitely had the right looks for it. I'm here to be hired by the ladies. 4, to be more precise. They came up with a job that I actually should have turned down. They told me about a lonely, sweet, and even good-looking guy who was spending a week in a remote cabin just relaxing and enjoying himself, and they wanted to top it all off by sending me there to help him relax and enjoy life. It's dangerous for a woman in my line of work to do something like that. If any man had asked me to do it, I would have said no immediately. But 4 women? It seemed unlikely that there was some rapist or murderer lurking in the woods. One of them even claimed to be the client's wife. Ah, I see. Straight, shoulder-length brown hair? That's right. A bit of a mouse, isn't she? What? No offense, but you're way out of her league. Well, I love her. And that's the important thing. I was still a little angry at those who made those comments about Annette. Everyone seemed to feel the urge to compare her to me or humiliate her. Well, at least I used to love her. It's a little complicated. Oh, gosh, I don't know. So it was actually your wife who hired me to spend a week with you? I guess so. My wife knows I'm on vacation this week, and somehow I ended up here. Hell, I think she drugged me to get me here. Yeah, I guessed that. When I got here, you were almost out of it. So they hired you and brought you here? Yeah. I know it sounds crazy, but they paid me an awful lot of money for the job, and I thought I'd get some exercise when we weren't making love. Studying? Yeah, I'm getting a college degree. I haven't had much time to work lately because I've been studying for exams. That's why I needed money even more urgently than usual, and this job seemed perfect. A week of combining studying and making money. A lucrative kiss goodbye to my old profession. That's why I took it. Damn me. Why? Am I that disgusting? Oh no, not at all. I'm just afraid someone's about to get in trouble. I mean, you've been drugged and you're here against your will. Somebody is going to get in trouble, but it's not going to be you. That's good to hear. Now, come on. What? Tell your story. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty interesting. Oh, that. Yeah, interesting is the right word. Too interesting for my taste. That sounded as bitter as I felt, so I told her about Annette's game, about her desperate need to sleep with this handsome man, about their failed attempts to convince me. When I finished my sad story, she sat there with a surprised expression on her face. Really? I've seen these women. Some of them aren't exactly ugly. Not at all, but what does that matter? I'd say they're a lot sexier than your wife. Damn, why does everyone keep annoying me with this crap? I don't like comparing people, especially my wife. And yet you refuse to take them up on their offer. Of course, what good would that have done? She would have broken our wedding vows. I would have broken them. We would have both made love to other partners. We would always be comparing our most intimate moments to what we experienced with others. Our marriage would be tainted in some way. Wow. Wow. You're what everyone's talking about. Excuse me? You're one of those unrealistically nice guys. I think they actually exist, and now I've even met one. Wow. What? What is she talking about? I'm just a normal guy. Anyway, what happens now that we're here? Isn't there any way we can get out of here? I need to have a serious talk with my wife. We don't have a car, that's for sure. And we're in the middle of nowhere, a week's worth of supplies. Although I guess I could use my cell phone, shit. Looks like they stole it. Oh, girls. I think we got plenty of time to kill him. Yeah. Well, if you don't want love, do you mind if I get a little exercise? Not at all. What can I do for you? Would you like to? Sure. She stared at me with an impenetrable expression for quite a while. Then she suddenly unfroze. Wait, they asked me to show you this message in case you don't want to make love to me. Oh no, I had a bad feeling about that. A really bad feeling. I was afraid I'd get a set of pictures of her making love to this Mario guy to motivate me to make love to this woman. Fortunately, it was a simple note. Have fun, darling. Remember that this is just a game, some harmless fun without any emotion. Just enjoy your time with her. I love only you no matter what you decide to do. If you refuse to make love to her, we'll give up. I won't do anything stupid without your consent. Shit. Although I should have been relieved, this message reminded me again of what had happened up to that point. My wife had tried to get me to make love, even drugged me and provided a girlfriend to convince me to make the first move. This was not what in my mind a wife was supposed to do. Marriage is not supposed to be like that. Will you? She asked, deliberately misunderstanding me. What? No, thanks. So what about your studies? I needed a distraction, so I spent the morning testing her knowledge. Considering the circumstances, we actually had a good time. We spent the next few days doing the following: thinking about a marriage in trouble, studying, cooking, walking in the woods, moping, looking incredibly beautiful, being depressed, sitting in front of the fireplace and talking about everything in the world. Of course, neither of us did all of those things. The week was almost over. We knew a group of sneaks were going to pick us up in about an hour. We sat on the veranda drinking our last cup of coffee in friendly silence. My name is Lisa, by the way. Frank. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, too. We didn't exchange another word until the car pulled up. My anxious wife literally ran over to where I was standing, arms outstretched in anticipation. It's Sunday morning. My mood is relaxed after a very enjoyable night of lovemaking with my wife. The unfortunate events surrounding this silly game are mostly forgotten by now. The idea was wacky from the start. Annette clearly saw the error of her ways, and I must say that I am completely over it. Yes, I can honestly say that I have absolutely forgiven her. It wasn't easy, but I had outside help, and I look back on it without holding a grudge. Of course, it helped that she never actually made love to that Mario guy. Hey, when I think about it, more often than not, I even have to smile. In the end, it didn't hurt me at all. And I think my marriage is even stronger now. Much stronger, in fact. My wife, still half asleep, shuffles into the kitchen. Coffee, dear? She nods silently, and I hold out a mug to bring her back to the world of the living. Pretty wild night, huh? Yeah, I've got a pretty wild wife. You're not nothing either, mister. Lisa playfully pats me with her fist. We both smile. All is well in the world. I love you, Frank. I love you too. The end.